African.
Hello there, you're welcome to the only show that brings you happenings in the world of diplomacy and international relations, diplomatic affairs. My name is Harriet Nati. The show comes off on Pan-African television every Saturday from 4 to 5 o'clock p.m. We are also in over 40 African countries in the interest of Pan-Africanism. You can also find us in some parts of Europe, and of course we are global via YouTube and Facebook. So wherever you find yourself in the world, like I always say, you can catch up with us and get to know more when it comes to foreign policy of countries, diplomatic relations at the bilateral and multilateral levels. Today is another interesting moment on your screen where we get to speak to the ambassador of Italy to Ghana. Right here in Ghana, we have a representative of Italy right here in Ghana, and of course usually their work is to look out for the interests of the governments of their countries, in this case the governments of Italy, the people, and of course to also work in fostering relations with their partners. And Ghana is a very important partner to Italy, likewise Italy. My guest is ready and seated. I'll take a break. When I come back, we will start our conversation. Stick with us. Welcome back. You're still with Diplomatic Affairs. My guest is the ambassador of Italy to Ghana, Her Excellency Daniela Dolandi, and she has been here for some time. She's leaving already. You know, I remember very well when she came in. You know how we go about looking for ambassadors who are newly appointed into our jurisdiction to speak with and learn more about some relations between Ghana and their country. So we started talking to her, and she assured us that, Harriet, I would like to talk about something more of substance. When we have so much that we have accomplished together, at the end I have something to share with the people of Ghana and Italy. And so she's been all about work, running, getting things done, and we have been equally patient, you know, following her with our cameras, and we've been very privileged to be part of the activities of her office, because we'd like to make their business our business as well, and that is your business. So we are happy to be doing this today. Excellency, welcome to Diplomatic Affairs.
Thank you so much, dear Harriet.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm excited. I am overjoyed. I don't even know how to express my excitement this morning. It's been great. It's been quite a lot of work on your part. It's been very busy on your part as the head of the mission here in Ghana, not just Ghana as well. I know you are in you are accredited to other countries as well.
Togo as well.
To Togo and just Togo, so Ghana and Togo, right? So we have been looking for this opportunity to do this. Finally, the moment is here. How are you feeling? Are you good?
Yes, I'm good because our relations are excellent, and but I'm a bit sad at the same time because my term of duty after 4 years of service in this beautiful country is reaching almost an end, even though I don't have a date yet, but it will be in the coming month.
It will be in the coming month. The most important thing is that we are here with you to look at what you've done over the years since you got here in working for our two countries, Italy and Ghana. Now, Excellency, before we usually delve into business, we would like to get to know you. Our audience would like to know you on another level, which is personality profile, because this also inspires young girls out there who aspire to be, you know, leaders in different capacities. So we use the moment to equally talk about the journey, your career path. Let's get to know you. Who is Daniela Dolandi?
So I'm an Italian career diplomat. And I was inspired to do this diplomatic journey by my father, because my father was an ambassador, Italian ambassador. I was born in Greece. I grew up in Paris. And then I passed the diplomatic exam in the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I am married, I have 3 kids, and I'm here in Ghana since 2020 with my family. This is my 4th diplomatic posting abroad, but my first as head of mission and in Africa. And I've served both in bilateral postings. So my first one was Deputy Ambassador in the Dominican Republic, also covering other countries like Jamaica, Haiti, Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis. And now bilateral posting in Ghana and Togo. And as for the multilateral postings, I was a deputy to the permanent head of mission of Italy to the Council of Europe in France. And before coming to Ghana, I served as head of the human rights team at the permanent mission of Italy to the United Nations at the Human Rights Council when Italy was a member.
Lovely. Very interesting career path. For you, you just mentioned that you followed the path of your dad. Did you always want to be a diplomat?
Yes. Since I was a very young girl, this was my dream to follow. I said, you should pursue your dreams and try to do your best. And the fact that you're a woman shouldn't be an obstacle.
The fact that you are a woman shouldn't be an obstacle. And so your father influenced your decision to a certain extent?
Yes.
Lovely. Does any of your kids want to be a diplomat as well?
They are too young for that.
Okay.
Maybe they would be more interesting into being a soccer player or my daughter a scientist, but who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe one of the 3. That's why I have 3. So.
I like that. Someone from the family must continue with the legacy. So that's a very good thing. I like that. Now, let's talk about Africa. You have served in so many other countries before occupying this position as the substantive head of Italy, the mission here in Ghana. What was your expectations when you were coming to Ghana? Did you have any encounter with Africa before this position?
I had some encounters with Africa, but mostly either for holidays or some missions on the spot. But it was mostly in North Africa, and no, it was my first encounter with Ghana, and I was very thrilled and eager to know more about Ghana, its culture, its people, its landscapes, because I'm a very curious person.
And how was it for you?
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, I visited, I think, 10 out of the 16 Ghana regions.
Wow.
Most of the highlights I attended. Ghana is very rich from a cultural point of view. I attended the Omowo Festival for the Ga, the Aqua Sidae for the Ashanti in Kumasi. Well, I visited the Stilt village in Adzuledzu. I walked on the canopy walk in the park. I visited the Mole National Park where you can spot beautiful elephants. I visited most of the castles and forts of Ghana. I mean, it's amazing, it's endless, and I think that Ghana deserves to be more on the radar as regards tourism and promotion, etc., because more tourists from abroad, but not only diaspora, but also others should come to Ghana and discover this beautiful country, which furthermore is so peaceful and stable with very, very friendly people, like Italians.
I feel bad sitting here and hearing you talk about your adventure with all the regions, because to be very honest with you, it's such a shame to even mention that I haven't been to I can't even say up to about 5. So I really envy you that you get to see, you know, the depth of our country, the organic part of our country, and you appreciate it so well. When I speak with your colleagues, and I mean the ambassadors, most of the diplomats, and we talk about Ghana, and they look at the outlook of the country. They talk about how organic it is in terms of tourism. They talk about the rich culture when it comes to the Ghanaian people, our identity, and how we are able to coexist with each other, and they appreciate all of those. They become the ambassadors of our country. When you go back to Italy, and all these people that I have engaged, when they left, they are the ones who are actually selling Ghana because they can speak from their experience with the country, and that is genuine. You can't buy anybody's experience, so they will automatically give what they got from the country to the people that they meet, and even recommend that, you know what, if you're looking for a place to visit in Africa, you should, you know, look at Ghana as well. Is that going to be the case with you? You become, you just don't become an ambassador of Italy, but also Ghana's ambassador as well in promoting Ghana out there.
Of course, because my experience has been so good. I have Ghana in my heart, so of course I will recommend Ghana, and also Ghanaian food is excellent.
We will talk about the food. But before we get to the food base,
it's part of the package, you know.
I know.
Culture, food, landscapes.
They go together.
Of course.
Right. That's a huge part of culture. You're absolutely right. The people are known for so many things. Now, before we even zoom into Italy-Ghana relations at the bilateral level, I would want us to talk about Italy's foreign policy with the entire continent, which is Africa.
Yes.
How strategic is Africa to Italy?
Yes. Africa is at the core of our foreign policy, and there's a renewed emphasis which has been put on Africa by the current Italian presidency of the G7. So what is very important is a renewed engagement with Africa, which must stem away from predatory or paternalistic approaches, but rather pursue mutually beneficial cooperation, a partnership between equals. And this was a bit the core of the Italy-Africa Summit, which was held in Rome on the 28th and 29th of January. And the president of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, took part in the summit. It was a great honor for us to host him, together with other 20 or more heads of states from the African continent, plus other 30 at other levels like prime ministers or ministers. And during the summit, many important issues of common interests were discussed. For example, the economic and infrastructural development, climate change and energy, which are also closely linked, food security and agriculture, cultural initiatives and TVET, and last but not least, migration. So it's all topics that we want to deal with together with our African partners, defining projects together. And in fact, our Italian government has launched during the conference the so-called Mattei plan. Mattei is...
That's the Prime Minister of is it the President?
The President of the Council of Ministers, Mrs. Giorgia Meloni, a woman, launched this Mattei plan. And Mattei was the founder of the energy giant ENI. And he was one of the pioneers of the exploration in the energy sector in Africa, in several African countries. And in fact, in the 60s, he had personal ties with Ghana because he was a good friend of Kwame Nkrumah, the first ever president, and he played a key role in the development of the energy sector in Ghana. And in the framework of this Mattei plan, projects will be defined with some African key countries to start with, and then it will be expanded to other countries in the sector that I mentioned before. But all those projects will be designed together with our African partners, listening to their needs.
Interesting. This tells me that relations between Italy and Africa didn't begin just yesterday. It's been since for a very long time. So Italy and Africa have been friends for a very long time, if I can put it that way.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, let's talk about Italy's presence in Africa. I know Italy has so many missions in Africa, and Ghana is one of them, obviously, which is why we are seated here today talking about bilateral relations between Italy and Ghana. When we talk about embassies in countries, before people only knew or thought that it was all about visa acquisitions between countries. So we have, let's say, Ghana's embassy or mission in Rome, which is the capital of Italy, and their mandate solely is to, you know, issue visas to Italians who want to come to Ghana, and also vice versa. But with time, we have come to understand and appreciate relations between Ghana and its development partners. I am very curious as a journalist, when I talk about relations between countries, I like to know primarily what is it that we are focused on as two countries, and how beneficial is the relations between our two countries. So let's begin with Italy's ties with Ghana, and let's explore the basic areas of interest between these two countries, the basic ones that are of beneficial to both countries.
So I would say that, well, of course, you mentioned the visa and consular
Right.
aspects, which are an important sector of activity of embassies and consulates, and even in our case, it's a very important sector. But there's so much more than that, as you pointed out. And for example, the trade sector. As regards the trade, I'm pleased to note that last year the volume of bilateral trade reached the record level of 880 million euros.
880 million euros.
Yes.
That's a huge figure.
It's an enormous figure. And I hope that it will continue to grow, and that we'll keep on creating opportunities for more partnerships, more growth, more wealth creation, and more jobs. And as regards the trade, I have to say that inside the embassy, we have the Italian Trade Agency office. And together with us, they are deeply focused on promoting partnerships and initiatives between Italy and Ghana, together with the Ghanaian counterparts, the main Ghanaian association dealing with trade, agriculture, etc. And just to give you an example, and as the very first follow-up for Ghana of the Italy-Africa Summit. Last 8th of May, there was business-to-business dialogue conference, which was held in Rome, with the participation of all the major business, trade, sectorial associations from Africa. And Ghana took part in this conference with the CEOs or high-level representatives of the Ghana Chamber of Agriculture, of the Association of Ghana Industries, of the Ghana Export Promotion Agency, to promote Ghanaian products abroad. So all of them were there. Then just another example, Mac Fruit in Rimini in May, every May. It's the largest international fair for fruits and vegetables. And Ghana took part with its own pavilion, with the support of the Italian Trade Agency and of the embassy, with 16 participants from Ghana, plus 7 others who came to attend the fair. But on the other side, we tried to also attract investors from Italy in Ghana. So this year, Ghana held the West Africa Plus Spring Pack and Agro-Food Fair in November at the Accra International Conference Center. There. And 7 Italian companies came. So our idea is to promote those partnerships between Italian and Ghanaian companies. And the entire agro-food sector is extremely important for us. Because we believe that Ghana could benefit from the Italian technology, expertise, equipment, because Italy is the 2nd manufacturing country of the EU. In order to transform the rich natural resources and raw materials to create added value here in the country. To reach food security and also to develop local industries.
From all indications, it appears there is a lot happening between Italy and Ghana in terms of trade. I would do my best for us to speak the layman's language, whereby people can, relate and appreciate the conversation better. And you talked about 880 million euros for trade between our two countries. Now, out of this huge amount, the 880 million euros, what is the percentage in terms of products that actually come from Italy? Maybe 2%, 3%, 30%. Yeah, I'm sure you have an idea of what I'm talking about. And how much of that, in terms of percentage, Ghanaian products also end up in Italy?
Yes, well, I won't give you the percentage, but at least I will give you the kind of exchanges that we have. So from Italy, we mostly import from Ghana natural resources.
Okay.
So be it agricultural products or oil.
Okay.
And from Italy, we export to Ghana mostly technology, equipment, machinery, pharmaceutical products. This is the kind of exchange that we have.
All right.
But I trust that much more made in Ghana could be made in Ghana and then exported not only to Italy, but to so many other
even the
places.
European markets.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why we are trying to do and to promote, because, for example, there is a new project by a very important Italian company in the agro-food sector, Bonifiche Ferraresi. We met with the Minister of Agriculture 2 weeks ago, because they are starting this project in the Volta region. To develop 5,000 hectares of land to produce banana, tomato, rice and other cultures, but they can expand. Their idea is in the 5 coming years to from 5,000 acres to reach 30,000 acres. It will create
a huge volume.
It will create thousands of jobs.
Right.
But moreover, the idea is that the production is not only for the domestic market, but also for exports. Because, for example, in Italy, I was a bit puzzled because in the supermarkets you find, mangoes from South America or from Asia, but I've never seen a mango or a pineapple from Ghana.
And we have so many of them.
When I went here, the first time I tried them, I said, oh my God, they are delicious. They are wonderful. And the distance between Ghana and Italy is much shorter than bringing in food from other continents.
So why don't we have like our mangoes, for instance, exported to the Italian market?
Yes, the idea is to promote those projects. And
what are some of the challenges that technically we are faced with when it comes to exporting some of these basic products from Ghana to the European markets? And let's start with Italy, because you can speak for Italy.
Yes.
In this regard.
Maybe there should be more knowledge about the availability of products, because you don't know. If you are not here, you don't know that there are wonderful pineapple or mangoes from Ghana. And maybe to organize also more channels to send those mangoes. I don't know, containers, plane or whatever, because I mean, now we have a direct flight. We have also, we commissioned a container from Grimaldi line, but we also have MSC, who are two of the main actors in the sea transport. So we are present as Italy. So more and more should and could be done.
Right. Knowledge is very important, like you said.
Yes.
If people don't have knowledge, they basically do not have wealth. If you have knowledge, you have wealth, because you know what to do to access wealth and sustain wealth as well. So I think we need to do more in this area. And I'm excited about developments so far with the projects, for instance, that would be happening in the Volta region, which is a good thing. It means that you are going beyond the capital to other regions as well to create jobs and see how best we can partner. So this is good for us as well. You also mentioned value addition in your submission to some of the products that we have here. What do you make of the value addition conversation around our products? Because that seems to be part of the issues when we are dealing with Ghanaian products that are being exported, to other countries. Will that really change much in terms of economic development activities for the country?
Yes, of course, because if you export a raw mango or a raw product, its cost could be even 5 or 10 times less than that of a transformed product. For example, from the mango, you can have a juice, and the juice is much more expensive than the fruit. And in our case, we have brought some Italian machinery in the Otumfos farm in the Ashanti region. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I commissioned a project together with the Ghanaian authorities. And it was with the fruits, there were so many fruits, to transform them into juices and concentrates. And it was either for the domestic market, because when you go to a Ghana supermarket, sometimes you find tropical juices, but imported from all over the world. And I want to drink made in Ghana products, which makes more sense. And they are so good. And even when there was this Made in Ghana bazaar, there were so many amazing Ghanaian products
on display.
And I was asking, but where could I find that? And some of them were produced by women, very small enterprises. But I believe they would need more support to have them displayed in stores, in supermarkets, etc. Because otherwise, unless you know, so it's always a question of knowledge. You don't know where to get them.
You don't know where
but you have them. You have them. You have everything, and here the soil is so fertile, you can grow anything. It's impressive.
Absolutely. We can grow anything. That is definitely what it is all about. And I think there is so much to gain in terms of relations between Ghana and Italy in Ghana as well. As mentioned, Ghana is a very strategic partner to Italy. So this is just a trade bit, which is commerce. Yes. And there's so much happening after talking about it. I would like us to move from that and also talk about, other things that we have accomplished together in terms of trade. Let's talk about some of the things, the major things that Italy gets from Ghana. What are some of the major things that Italy gets from Ghana?
Some of the major things, when we were talking about trade, as said, natural resources, etc.
You talked about oil as well.
Oil, etc. So yes, but we want also some more, and this is quite interesting, specialized and skilled workers. This is quite important because we have companies in Italy that are looking for skilled workers, and they don't find them.
Why?
And because in Europe, families, they don't have so many kids. It's aging populations. But industries, they need always a renewal of manpower. And there are several interesting projects that I would like to share about migration and mobility.
Right.
And for example, when we had the state visit of the President of the Italian Republic, His Excellency Sergio Mattarella, last April to Ghana for the first time in his case.
That was historic.
Yes, that was very historic. He visited and commissioned a project which is taking place at Tema. It's run by the Salesian Fathers, and it's also supported by Confindustria Alto Adriatico. It's an association of industries from the northeast of Italy.
Oh.
And then the president of this association, in the area of Italy where he lives, he says, well, here in my region, there are many, many Ghanaians living there already. There is a large Ghanaian community, but they are so well integrated with the Italian community. They are very serious, peaceful, and hardworking. And several of our industries need specialized workers that they cannot find. I mean, not enough people. So why don't we train and bring Ghanaian workers to Italy through regular channel of migration? And well, the aim is to train firstly in the center and to give also some Italian language acquisition to those, this first batch of...
Which is a requirement.
Which is a requirement.
At least basic Italy.
Basic Italy, exactly. So we expect by the end of December 2024 to send the first 250.
This year?
Yes, this year already to Italy. And once in Italy, they will complete their training and then they will work. And then they will decide after a few years if they want to stay there or come back and bring back what they have learned to their home country, their expertise.
This is very interesting. Trust me, this is the part where our viewers get excited the most, and they get excited in a good way. What I mean is that we are all looking for opportunities.
Yes.
Countries are looking for opportunities every day. Europe is looking for opportunities with Africa every day. Africa is also looking for opportunities with Europe every day. And these are the areas that we are talking about. When you talk about skilled workers, for instance, and you explain further that the population is aging in Europe, in Italy, for instance, and that we need manpower to, you know, achieve industrialization aspirations, which is something that is needed everywhere. So in this case, if this is going to be regularized in a way that we know that it is legally done, and people who are going to be the first batch, for instance, who will be leaving here in December this year, is they are acquiring this kind of skill, and they choose to work elsewhere and decide whether they want to come back with the expertise acquired from that assignment, bring it back home, or they want to integrate and stay there. Really, what are the requirements before anyone can be picked? How does it work? Because I know people might be very interested in this information we are sharing, but then this is also being done right. Let's talk about the requirements. How do you pick who and what you want from them?
So what I was mentioning before was an example from the private sector and with the students that are in this Salesian center. But what we wish to do is to have something, to create a framework. So we are currently negotiating, the government of Italy, with the Ministry of Labor and Employment Relations, a memorandum of understanding on migration and mobility. So there are two sides. On the one hand, it aims at combat irregular migration, because we don't want a migrant to lose their lives in the desert, etc. Perilous journey, etc. And then you get to Europe and you have
stranded,
no documents,
nothing.
you don't have money. It's a problem, because everyone dreams of greener pastures, but it's extremely risky, and then you don't have anything. So you also run the risk of being exploited, etc. So it's absolutely, we have to deter that from happening. And it's a common priority also for Ghana. The second way would be to incentivize regular, safe migration, and to define, together with the Ministry of Employment of Ghana and other stakeholders which are interested. Once we have signed this framework memorandum, then to define the sectors and how to select and how to apply, so that it's transparent and the highest number of applicants who are interested can apply.
This is so far, this is the highlight of my conversation with you. But I know there's so much more to delve into. So we haven't even started yet. But then you also talked about it. When we talk about trade, I want us to talk, I was going to reserve the best for the last, which is the launch of the Italian Airlines, here introduced in Ghana. So we have a direct flight from Rome to Accra. And that's amazing. I was so much trying to reserve this part of the conversation for the last, when we are wrapping up. But since we are looking at trade, this is equally under trade, commerce between our two countries. Let's talk about that. I know this has been, it's about time. It's about time. It's about time.
Yes. Well, in fact, there were direct connections between Italy and Ghana, regular ones, until 2015. And then they were interrupted, and then there was COVID. And I remember very well when I came here during COVID time, in fact, all the commercial flights were cancelled, and the only flight coming here from Rome was a humanitarian flight, bringing some, staff from WFP, FAO, etc., plus me. And I said, oh, but that's amazing. In 5 hours and 15 minutes, you get here. And then for the following years, I had to travel, transiting in other countries, and the time of the journey almost doubled or tripled. And in my contacts with the Italian company, I was telling them, but why we should work on having it once again, because there are many Italians here wishing to travel back to their country. But at the same time, in Italy, we host one of the largest Ghanaian communities in Europe. Over 50,000 people, even more. So the plane will be full, that's for sure. And finally, eventually, we made it. So from last 6th of June, the inaugural flight from Rome came to Accra. So with ITA Airways, it's a national carrier. So we are very, very, very proud. The aircraft is beautiful.
And it's big.
Yes, not so big.
What was the
165?
Oh, that's relatively
passengers.
Yeah,
but it will fly 3 times per week in June, and the idea is from July to increase to 4 times per week, and according to the request, even more.
Wow. So there's so much demand for that.
Yes, and really, in less than 6 hours, our countries are connected, and this will bring our people even more close.
Even more close. You took the wind out of my sail. I was going to talk about the visit of the president of Italy to Ghana, which, is very historic, because it's been long since both parties started talking about this conversation. And I know the president has been to Italy, so that was like reciprocated on the part of the Italian government. And when they met, they discussed a lot of, initiatives that could really advance relations between our two countries. And I know agriculture, there are some areas that we are already, working together in those areas, and other also areas came up that they could possibly explore together as leaders of our two countries. I want to believe that also contributed to speeding things up with ITA, airways or airlines here in Ghana. So this is like a good achievement for both parties, I must say, because it's going to connect us the most, as you mentioned. So I think this is good. Let's also go back and look at some of the things that you were in the meeting. So some of the things that you think that are new that are going to be happening between the two countries, actually, beyond agriculture, beyond the already areas of interest that we are working in together. What other new things are we to see from this meeting that happened in April?
Yes, as you rightly said, the President of Ghana went to Italy twice in the last 9 months, in July and in January, and our President made this historic state visit in April. So 3 meetings at the highest level in less than 1 year. It's something absolutely exceptional, which testify how excellent our bilateral relations are and how much Italy and Ghana want to collaborate together. And in fact, one of the follow-up of the meeting was that end of April we had a 30-person delegation coming from Italy from the development cooperation. So not only Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Agency for Development of Cooperation of Italy, but also the private sectors, because companies joined us during this mission, as well as some NGOs.
Right, huge business delegations.
Yes, and also Development Bank, Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, which is our main development bank. So, and with colleagues from different desks of the ministry, so development cooperation, trade, etc., Africa, etc. And during this mission, we had meetings with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, with the Deputy Minister of Finance, with the Minister of Digitalization and the Minister of the Education. And we were very glad to announce that Ghana has become in 2024 a priority country for our development cooperation. Being a priority country means that more projects will be developed in Ghana, with Ghana and for Ghana, in areas such as agriculture and food security, health. It's very important, for example, for the retooling of hospitals. Digitalization. I know that there's a regional project which will involve several African countries with Ghana in the digital sector, because it's important also for the e-economy, for the e-transaction, for the relations between the public and the administration. So, and you are already very much advanced in that sector. And also cross-cutting issues like education and migration, of course.
Migration has been a very sensitive issue as well. I remember about 5 years ago, I sat with your predecessor, not Alicia, of course, Excellency Faville, and we talked about Italy and Ghana relations. Migration was one of the biggest subjects that we discussed in our interview. We talked about Africa's efforts in curbing migration. Where are we with all of that? Are we making progress in spite of relations between countries at the bilateral level? Let's talk about the all-hands-on-deck approach. Are we doing good when it comes to curbing migration, illegal migration?
Yes. Well, during my tenure of office, I had the opportunity to raise this issue, of course, also with the Minister of Interior of Ghana. This issue was raised at high-level discussions by other dignitaries. And I think that with Ghana, we share the same approach, which is very positive. That is, that we have to tackle and avoid this irregular migration, and on the contrary, create opportunities for regular migrants, be them workers or even students. And for example, in 2024, Italy will double the number of scholarships for students, because in Africa you have very young populations, and in the youth you will find the leaders of tomorrow. So it's high-level education is very important for the youth to unleash their full potential and to bring back home their knowledge. For example, just to give you example of two personalities that benefited from Italian masters. One of them in the media field is Bolloré. So he attended a master in for impact entrepreneurship, which currently is promoted by the University for Professional Studies in Accra, and it's organized by the Cattolica University in Rome. And every year, many young entrepreneurs who want to launch a startup, but they don't know exactly how to proceed, they are given the tools to do so. And so it's there's a foundation, Italian foundation, E for Impact, which is also promoting this kind of program. And it's like doing building capacities for job creators. They are not only entrepreneurs, but we want them to become job creators in Ghana or elsewhere. And thousands of jobs have been created in Ghana with this program. And to speak about the sector of education, there is a partnership between the Ministry of Education of Ghana and an Italian company, De Lorenzo, which is currently building 5 centers of excellence in different regions of Ghana. And every 3 of them have been completed and the other are in progress. And for the education and the training of young Ghanaians, it will bring a lot of added value, we believe.
It definitely will make a change, I think so. Let's talk about, now that we are done with that, I'm happy we touched on migration, we touched on trade as well. Now, let's talk about the Italian community here in Ghana. You talked about Ghana's presence in Italy, 50,000 and could even be more plus, right? So that's a huge community. That's like a whole region, a region on its own in Italy. And Ghanaians have integrated so well. The business community, they contribute a lot to Ghana's economic development. I would want us to look at some of the companies or organizations and then the FDIs in contributing to Ghana's economic development.
Yes. First of all, I wish to say that the Italian presence in Ghana dates back to the beginning of the 20th century. The presence of the first Italian was traced back to 1903.
What?
Yes, exactly. Italians came at the beginning of the 20th century originally to look for gold. And as some of them were either entrepreneur or skilled workers, those who couldn't find gold, they started to build roads or infrastructures. So, I mean, our destiny were linked for a lot of time. The Akosombo Dam in the 60s was built by Impregilo, an Italian company. And it became a very important site for the production of hydroelectric power, not only for Ghana, but also for Togo and Benin. After that, Tema, the first ever refinery in Ghana, was made by Italians. And the largest bilateral private investment in the oil and gas sector was made some years ago by ENI, one of the most important stakeholders in the sector. And apart from those milestones, as you said, there are many, many important Italian companies in the construction sector. I can name Consar. They became half Italian and half Ghanaian because they've been here for some of them for the fourth generation or for over 40 years. For example, Consar, they built the African Game Stadium. Recently, I can mention also Trasacco, I can mention De Simone, I can mention Barbisotti, Micheletti, and others. I don't want to forget any of them, but there are many others as well. This only for the construction sector, so construction infrastructure. There's an Italian company, Team Engineering, which is designing the Ghanaian railway.
Your Excellency, they will come after you if you don't mention their name.
So all protocol observes, as you say here.
I don't want us to be in trouble.
You ask for names, so I'm mentioning.
Right, but I mean, so we do acknowledge the significant role Italy plays in Ghana's economy.
Yes.
And of course, how much Ghana has also integrated in Italy, the Italian community, even back home, the Ghanaian community in Italy. Now, let's talk about women's role in leadership. And you are an example. I want us to talk about the role of women in building a nation or a country, which is very important. How is Italy doing with regard to, as an advanced country, how is Italy doing? And this is not to compare, but also to draw lessons and talk about some of the challenges and how much women have had to fight to be given a platform to speak.
Well, we can always get better. This is for sure not only in Italy, but in any country. And as women, we must be engaged and committed to promote the cause of women, to fight against any form of violence against women and any form of discrimination against women. And in fact, when I was in the multilateral sector in Geneva and in Strasbourg at the Council of Europe, I've always dealt with those topics which are very dear to my heart. For example, I took part in the negotiations of the Istanbul Convention, which is the only binding instrument to fight against violence against women, all forms of violence. And also in Geneva, I supported and promoted all types of initiatives which were aiming at promoting gender equality and fighting against discrimination. And as a country, well, our Prime Minister, for the first time ever, is a woman, a very strong woman. And we also have women ambassadors. And I have a daughter, and I hope that we can lead by example, which is important. I should say to the women's audience, we shouldn't be scared of obstacles. We can overcome anything, just like men. It's not because we are women we can't do things. We have a great, great, great potential. But also as a mother, I think it's very important, because I have 2 boys, to educate them about the respect of women. That women are your equal, that you should respect women, and that you should never, never, never for any reason use violence against women.
Now let's talk about, let's say, how is it like politically? Do we have many women in venturing into that area?
I believe in Italy we need more for sure. We have in very important positions, but also as regards ambassadors. A woman is ambassador in Washington, a woman is ambassador in Paris, which are very, very important postings. But overall, more women should be there, and also in parliament and also in politics in general. So there is progress to be made.
There is
Yes.
progress to be made, so we
Yes.
can do better.
We can do better. We
Okay.
can always do better.
We can always do better. I know how big you are on culture as a person, and I know how you appreciate cultures from everywhere. And so I really couldn't have done this without talking about culture.
Well, I believe that you cannot speak about Italy without speaking about culture, because Italy is a cultural superpower, and culture is part of soft diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very powerful tool. Our country hosts the highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites,
Mm-hmm.
59.
Wow.
That I invite our Ghanaian friends and others to visit, thanks to the direct flight with ITA Airways between Accra and Rome. And yes, we have had hundreds of years of culture, sense of beauty, art, gastronomy, wines, music, fashion, design. We have in Italy the highest number of design industries, of design companies all over the world.
And by the way, I love what you're wearing. It's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very Italian.
I always wear Italian clothes and shoes and bags. And
that's how you promote your your country. Italy is very unique when it comes to culture. Like you said, you know, the architectural design of Italy. When we had the opportunity, my team, of course, my executive cameraman, you know, were in Italy, and we had the opportunity. We didn't really experience Italy as we should, but we actually tried the food, that macaroni, what is it called? Bolo?
Macaroni, it's a type of pasta, but we have 300 different types of pasta. So it could be fresh, it could be dry, it could be short, it could be long. We could speak about food and for hours.
My goodness. And culinary diplomacy is receiving so much attention these days at most events, you know, multilateral events. So that is very much appreciated as well. I've seen how you have actually brought the Italian culture and, you know, merged it with the Ghanaian culture.
Yes.
When you collaborated with this individual, Latif Abubakar, who is doing amazing in the theater space, reviving the theater space, when you actually supported his initiative and, you know, the adaptation of one of the plays that we watched, and it was amazing. And for me, I want us to talk about that, because I saw the entire auditorium like never seen before, filled to its capacity, and people were you've had to actually run shifts, like to have other people, everyone watch this adaptation. Let's talk about that moment. I was there, so it's still fresh, you know, in my head.
No, it was extremely successful, and I wish to thank the 8,000 plus patrons and spectators that came.
My goodness.
It was an adaptation of a Pirandello play. Pirandello is one of the most famous playwrights of Italy. He even won a Nobel Prize for Literature in 1934. And my idea was to bring Italian theater to Ghana for the first time, but adapting it to the local context and present it with an Afrocentric key so that it could speak to the audience. So as I know that people here in Ghana, they like to go to the theater to relax, to have a good time, to laugh. So first thing was to find a novel or a play that was funny in Italian, and then have it translated into English. But then Latif Abubakar, who is extremely creative, he made a wonderful adaptation, and the result was really hilarious.
Overwhelming, I would say, because I was there and I couldn't help, you know. And I like the fact that the story was told in both worlds.
Yes.
Italy and Ghana.
Yes.
So that relation was that people could easily relate to the story, and from both parties could appreciate the story that was being told. Most importantly, it was about education and information. So it was a good story to tell in the end. And I must say congratulations for that.
Thank you.
You will be remembered for that. Like, that's one of the things. I know you've done so many things in this country, and I know how hardworking you can be. But this is one of the things that Ghanaians, the audience, the people will actually remember you for when they talk about, you know, the social and the cultural, you know, how you were able to pull that off. So I think this is this was very much done. So congratulations once again. We are still talking about culture. That's just the creative arts bits that we've just discussed. I know there's food.
Yes.
And Italy's National Day, I call it Little Italy, on display in Accra. When we featured the story on Diplomatic Affairs, we had lots of feedback from the public, and they loved the Little Italy, you know, displayed here. It was just nice. Why is it so important that you go to that extreme to sell your country in that manner? The food, the outfits, through music. It is so important that we appreciate each other's identity.
Yes.
So let's talk about how that, because this has been you all through and through since you came. It's very strategic, and I admire the fact that you used the opportunity to sell your country to the people of Ghana so we can understand who they are, their values, and what they stand for.
Yes. But in fact, we had a national day. You took part in our national day here in Accra, but a few days ago we had a second national day, this time in Kumasi.
I am so offended.
You were working, you were busy. And it's another occasion to promote Italy, not only in the capital, but also
you took it
in
outside
the region.
the capital.
Of course, because we have a honorary vice consulate there. So every year I think we are the only country celebrating 2 national days, one in Accra and one in Kumasi.
That is so unfair. It's having 2 birthdays, you know, you celebrate your birthday twice in a year. Wow.
And then in November, we celebrate the Italian food and wine. It's the week of the Italian cuisine abroad, which is celebrated in all Italian embassies and consulates all over the world. And it's a flagship initiative of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And in fact, the Italian cuisine is a favorite for everyone, everywhere. And it's a candidate to be part of the UNESCO World Heritage lists, you know. And it's very important for us to promote the culture, and we have also other initiatives. Last October, we promoted 8 events around literature. So some representatives of publishing houses from Italy came. But in our initiatives, we always want to partner or to involve Ghanaians. So young Ghanaian writers came as well, because those Italians coming here, they were also scouting for talents from Africa. Just to give you an example. Or for example, we have a cultural association, Piccola Biblioteca Italiana, and they had a white wall. And then we asked a young company of artists, Ghanaian artists, to paint. So they did a beautiful painting representing Italian books, but it was done by young Ghanaian artists, you know. It's that kind of collaboration. And then we organized a jazz concert at the Ghana Club in December. And the main musicians, there were 2 of them, were Italians, but they played together with the Ghanaian band.
Oh.
So it's always doing things together to promote the collaboration in all sectors and the friendship.
Excellency, before I go, let me ask about the soft power diplomacy approach to fostering relations, genuine relations, and people putting aside their differences, you know, just allowing people to be, and accommodating everybody on one platform. is a beautiful thing, and that has been done through so many means. We've talked about food, for instance, how you are able to bring the people closer to your country, Italy, here, because the thing is that we have lots of propaganda, perceptions and assumptions out there, misinformation, disinformation when it comes to countries, you know. And so when opportunities like this presents itself, you would want to leverage that to let the people know who you are and open your doors to people to come in as well and get to know you and appreciate you better. On my show just this past Saturday, we talked about, we were in Paris for the UNESCO Africa Week celebration, and I spoke about the cultural aspect, diplomacy, the soft power approach to getting results. I saw Algeria, I saw Morocco on one platform, on one stage, and they were just displaying their culture through music and art, and it was beautiful. It's the only platform that you can actually find people who have, you know, like who don't really come, they're always clashing when it comes to certain issues, but this platform is like, it opens the door for everyone to come and showcase the true identity. How can we leverage this to create an environment that just allows unity, cooperation, integration for the kind of world that we want to live in?
Well, as you say, soft power diplomacy is a very, very, very relevant tool that needs to be strengthened, and because arts, culture, music, food, it's universal language. I mean,
Yes.
it binds people together.
Soccer.
Yes, you forget to mention.
And we'll talk about soccer. Yes, we'll talk about soccer.
And yes, it's very powerful. I mean, it's, we should promote more and more and more initiatives, because through those initiatives you can send and share important messages.
Absolutely. And before we go, let's talk about soccer, because I know Italy is big on soccer, and there have been some scouting of, you know, rare talents here in the country. Let's talk about some of the things we are doing when it comes to soccer.
But in fact, I believe that most of the most important Ghanaian champions started their careers in Italy. So all protocol observes.
No names.
No, I will only name some of them.
Okay.
Asamoah Gyan,
Right.
Stephen Appiah, Kudjo Samoa, Africa Kwa, and others. They all started their careers in Italy. So they became, after that, they had stellar careers, but they were trained at the beginning when they were young in Italy. And currently, I believe that Italy is the country that hosts the highest number of Ghanaian soccer players outside of Ghana. Yes. They are in several teams, and some of them are even in the first Italian league. And it's I'm always happy to meet them before they leave. And I always give them some recommendations to behave, not to spend all their money on futile things, and then to bring back their knowledge, their experience, and to help their community.
And to help their community. That's amazing. We can't go without talking about Ghanaian food. I know you are big on food and you love Ghanaian dishes. Do you have a favorite though? Do you have a favorite?
My favorite would be several. Because in fact, you know, tomato is the basis of our diet, both in Italy and Ghana, so it's another thing we have in common. No, I love very much to eat jollof, kelewele, kebabs, the chichingas, very spicy ones, not ground soup. And I even tasted your snails, you know, roasted snails.
Roasted snails?
Yes.
Wow. So you don't have a favorite because you've mentioned like almost, you talk about jollof.
Well, I forgot
Have
about...
you tried the palava sauce? With the that's like a
yes,
spinach,
yes, yes, and of course
sauce.
I did not mention the fufu, but
did you try the fufu?
of course. Well, the cat at the residence, his name is Fufu, but I'm not eating the cat. Yes.
Please don't touch the cat. No. Which one will you be preparing home when you go back? Which is easiest to prepare for you?
Well, I would like to be able to prepare a good jollof if you have a recipe to share, because my kids will ask for it for sure.
Then we better give them a recipe, otherwise you are in trouble. You need that recipe for your home. You do. Now that I know that you're a jollof fan, so yeah, there is
jollof for beginners. For Obroni.
We should maybe we should create a segment on the Diplomatic Affairs show and invite you to come and try your jollof.
And I can
basic
share some
skills.
Italian desserts.
You can actually create something.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. I think that would be nice. That's the power of
soft diplomacy that you were
diplomacy. Soft power is always the best. Food brings us together, like you said. It's one of the universal languages. Food, soccer, music, art. I trust you to be a great ambassador for Ghana, of course. I know you do. Excellency, did we leave anything out in our conversation before we wrap up?
Maybe environment as well.
And climate change.
We could speak for hours.
Yes, I know, right? But we didn't talk because I know Italy is big on European Union, of course, which Italy is part of, is big on climate change and, safeguarding the environment, which Ghana also is equally treating as a priority on our aspirations when it comes to what we want to achieve globally. So I know there are so many things in place. What are some of the things that we are doing in that area when it comes to climate and the environment? And do we have something happening in this area as well?
So first of all, I want to say that Italy has created an Italian climate fund to support developing countries to cope with climate adaptation issues and energy, renewable energy, clean cooking, etc. And as for Ghana, we had some relevant initiatives. For example, 2-3 years ago, we commissioned with the Vice President a project in partnership with UNDP in the Savannah region, which was aiming to plant 1,700,000 shea trees, because the shea tree, it's famous because it absorbs the carbon emission. So the idea is that in 20 years, 25 million toxic emissions will be absorbed by the shea tree. But at the same time, the woman can work with the shea fruit, for cosmetic, etc. So this project, on the one hand, it contrasts pollution and climate change, and on the other hand, it empowers a woman. So it's quite important. And another project I wish to mention was a project that we have to train young Ghanaian activists that will, in turn, train their peers. So last year we had a big seminar which gathered almost 100 young people. And Rocky Dawuni, the UN Goodwill Ambassador, was there as well as the Deputy Minister of Education of Ghana. So there was a support. And yes, it was like a training for trainers in partnership with IRENA, which is the International Agency for Renewable Agency. And those young activists, they reached out to over 1,000 of their peers. It's schools, in churches, online, etc. So that's a kind of initiative we are promoting.
Green Day, I think there was also...
I took part also in the Green Ghana Day
because
it's a very relevant initiative of the government of Ghana to plant trees.
Did you plant a tree?
Of course, mahogany tree.
Okay.
And then in the garden of the embassy, we planted a mango and an orange tree. So every year we are planting seedlings and we are supporting this initiative. And
do we go back to check on how the ones that we've planted? Because I know this was also last year.
No, I took part 3 times.
3 times?
Yes. No, my trees are still there.
I like that. I like that. I like the fact that you are keeping an eye on the trees that you planted, because
I planted them well.
So they are doing well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Finally, Excellency, your last message to the Ghanaian people. You've had a very good relationship with the people of Ghana through your office. You have actually nurtured this relationship that you've had with the people of Ghana. And I think that your open door policy has also actually worked a lot of magic when it comes to enhancing or fostering relations between Italy and Ghana. And for that, you will be missed. But I'm sure you are here for the first ever Diplomatic Awards event, which is on the 1st of August. You have to be around. Please, I pray you don't say that. You stay for that event before you leave. Please stay before you leave. Let me use the opportunity to state the support we've always enjoyed from the diplomatic community. And it means a lot to us because we have worked with ambassadors who have come and gone, and very exceptional, very supportive leaders with different leadership approach. But they have been very supportive because they understood what we wanted to achieve with this platform, and they gave us their support. And some of them sent us outside to go and cover assignments just to bring to the audience, the local audience, for them to appreciate relations between our two countries. So they have contributed greatly to where we are today. That is why I always, when I meet them outside, I tell them, you know what, we are crowning everything that we've done together. So this is a celebration, not just for diplomatic affairs, not me, but also for the diplomatic community and the people that they are here to serve. So this is a win for everybody.
So we should be there.
Why, so we need you to be there. That's why I need this on camera so that you are there, because we'll be sending your invitation very soon. Final words for the people of Ghana.
So I know that Ghanaians like very much proverbs and quotes.
you have one.
So yes, I will mention the words of a famous Italian journalist, Luigi Barzani, who said that in the heart of every man, wherever he is born, whatever his education or his tastes are, there is a little piece that is Italian. So I hope that also in the hearts of Ghanaians there will be a little piece of Italy, but in my heart for sure I will bring back home a great piece of Ghana.
A great piece of Ghana, I like that. And we will also maintain a great piece of Italy in our hearts as well. It's supposed to be reciprocal. So we thank you so much, Excellency, for your time. But do you speak any Ghanaian language, like Chi, Hausa, Ewe, Nzema, Hausa, any of them, Ga,
So I can tell you in a way, Akpe Kaka.
Akpe Kaka, that's
yes,
it.
Thank you very much.
Like
that's
that.
Medase.
Medase also.
Yes.
Yeah, and Nagode is from the north. The houses, they say Nagode.
Nagode.
Nagode. I mean, we speak so many languages here, right? Yeah, so Mesomedase. Thank you so much, Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Arit.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, people, this is where we draw the curtain to today's conversation on diplomatic affairs, where we delved into relations between Italy and Ghana at the trade level, and also talking about the socio-economic activities between our two countries in the interest of promoting development and bringing our people together. Our guest has been the Italian ambassador to Ghana, Her Excellency Daniela Dolandi, and it's been such a super insightful conversation. I have learned so much, and I'm sure it's been very informative for you as well. So yes, it's been great having you as our guest always, and thank you so much for joining us and your company. Of course, we're looking forward to having you same time next week. My name is Harriet Nate. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.
African.